Luca Nation. Luca Nation. Today is going to be a really fun episode. But before we do that, we gotta give this gentleman credit, the moment that he deserves. Did you hear Elgin Baylor passed away?
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Pretty sad.
Did you get the chance to watch him play at all? Have you watched his highlights?
Oh yeah. Actually, I dated his mom for a little while in high school.
Okay,
you mean highlights? Okay, I thought you were just calling me old again.
No, dude. Okay. He averaged 38 points a game in his prime, 18 rebounds a game. Guy had a career high of 71 points scored. He I watched a little bit of his highlights before this episode just to kind of brush up. I highly recommend it, and it's a sad day for the NBA community. He's a legend, absolute legend of the game. So, wanted to take a moment to talk about that. Cage, I think we got to talk NBA. LeBron's injury this weekend, LaMelo's injury this weekend. The Hawks are on an 8-game winning streak. The Rockets are on a 20-game losing streak. I think we got to cover the NBA market first, but let's welcome you guys back to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Cage, take it away. What's interesting for you? Melo, LeBron, do you want to talk about the Hawks and Trae Young? Luka's just putting up monster performances.
Well, I honestly don't know what's going on with Trae Young. Talk about the Hawks and Trae Young. What's the story there? But we definitely should spend the vast majority of the time today on the NBA, 100%. What's going on with Trae Young?
I'm not a Trae Young fan, sorry, still. But I'll tell you, they fired their coach, and they got, what's his name, Bogdanovich back. Whenever I hear that guy's name, I always think about the guy that used to own the car wash in Breaking Bad. Bogdan?
The car wash, yes. Yeah. Well, so has Trae started heating up? Is he looking good? Is he, are they starting to play better? What's going on with the Hawks? I don't even know. I haven't been watching them.
They've been playing better, but they haven't had their roster all year. They've been injured all year. So
he's a perfect example of that whole momentum thing that I talk about. Like he coming into the season full ahead of steam, and then all of a sudden he doesn't look as good. The team doesn't look as good, and you kind of just forget about him, and it's hard to get back on people's radar. So I was expecting you to tell me he scored 40 or something like that. And there's a reason to get back on the radar, but I guess not.
No, he hasn't put up monster statistical performances, but I think today's going to be a really interesting test for them. They play the Clippers in LA, and dude, it's kind of crazy, Cage. The Hawks are 4th in the East right now. Like 2 weeks ago being out of the playoff race. So it's an
listen, I was reading. Go ahead.
It's an interesting part of the year in the NBA. I think it's kind of one of those points where it's like, when they used to do this NBA segment on ESPN, pretenders or contenders. I think we get a chance to kind of find out who's who. And injuries are obviously a big factor. The Hawks weren't a full roster. They were dealing with injuries all year. And now they're getting healthy at the right time. You know how important that is. I just think
that there's a lot of pretenders in the East, and I think that there's no separation. And it's funny, no better than when I was researching my pick today, right? And it's an NBA pick, and it's perfect, way to go right into it, right? LaMelo's hurt. And I was reading about my pick, and guys, I never thought I'd be making a pick like this in this season, but bear with me here. My pick today is go back to my magic beanstalk, Jack, and grab today Devontae Graham cards. No baloney, right? And for many, many reasons. But before I tell you what to buy and how much and the whole deal on Devontae, one of the thesis, obviously, the reasons for this, Devontae being the play is LaMelo got hurt last night. He's out for the rest of the year. So, even before that, though, Devontae was going to potentially be a play because he is rumored to go to everybody in the league, right? Anybody who's got a need, especially because he became almost expendable, right? Because of LaMelo. So before the LaMelo injury, the talk was he was going to get traded to somebody. And so here's the fun. March 25th, a couple days from now, is the trade deadline. So we're going to have a flurry of trades, and this play does not hinge on him getting traded, but if he gets traded, that's fine. Normally you'll see a bump in value when somebody gets traded. New team, new fan base, gonna, try to buy the guy's stuff and, gonna fit in, get some minutes. But why I bring this up when you talk about the Hawks being 4th was another person that I think of in the same vein as Trae Young for this season is Jason Tatum, a guy who had a lot of momentum coming into the season. People were like, oh, he could take a step up. He could really, he's one of the dominant players in the league. He's going to really, get in that MVP race. And one of the trade partners that I read about, there's like 3 or 4 rumored, but one of the trade partners that I read about rumored for Devontae was the Celtics. And as I'm reading this article yesterday, it says, the Hornets, they're potentially not going to be in the playoff race, and if they ended right now, if the season ended, they'd be the 7th seed, and they'd be in a play-in game at 20-21. So it makes sense for them to be sellers and trade to the Celtics. And I look at the Celtics record, and guess what? They're 20-21 also. And I'm like, what? The Celtics and the Hornets are like 20, but both potentially playoffs, potentially in the playoff game, probably only a couple of games behind. I remember hearing the team like the Knicks were 500 and they're like the 5 seed. Now they're a couple games below 500. I mean, there's just so many teams in that bottom rung of the East where there's going to be a lot of shuffling here and there. It was just funny to read the Celtics were 20-21 because that's not what you'd expect coming into this season. So,
yes, but at this point in the season, people's records could be the same, but they look very differently.
Yes, 100%. Well, Celtics have looked like crap. They haven't played well as a team at all. But they can probably
they also had half
turn it on.
Out on COVID. They had cardiac injured.
And they'll turn it on. I'm sure that they're going to finish the season, the final 30 games, better than what the Hornets do. So I think
it's inevitable that they make a move. I think it's really inevitable. Like Danny Ainge always makes trade deadline moves.
Yep. So they had him. They had a Miles Turner trade potentially with Indianapolis, the Pacers, Indiana. They were talking about potentially him going to the Knicks, which would just be absurd if Devontae Graham went to the Knicks. I'm just telling you the rumors over the last 24 hours. So here's the fun on Devontae, right? If he gets traded, the Cards see a bump in price because he's going to go to some place and get minutes and play. And he's up for a contract at the end of the year. And the Hornets really don't want to pay him next year, right? Now,
why would they when they just drafted
they just drafted LaMelo, exactly. And they're already paying Terry Rozier. And he will get that money somewhere else. So he basically is running out the clock for them. Now, with LaMelo being injured, if they really think they're going to make a playoff run, now they're the 7th seed and, 20-21 and they're going to go to the playoffs, and they're buyers. I mean, they're buyers at this. They still need a center. And Devontae was the big chip to get a center, unless they're trading a draft pick away, which I wouldn't recommend as a bottom, under 500 team. If he doesn't get traded, I think the value of the Cards still go up because he has shown what he can do if given minutes, if given starting minutes. And LaMelo's not going to be there breathing down his neck for the rest of the season. And I think you're going to see a guy who understands that this is his time to earn his money, whether it's with a new team or whether it's with this team. And, he's playing for his contract. And when people play for their contract, they play out of their mind.
I love that you were going to say that because this is like a triumph for him.
Yep. It really is. It really is.
Is the play the base or is it the silver?
So it's funny.
It's actually not that big.
So the disparity is not that big either. And if you look at Probstein, he's got so if you're listening to this, if you're one of the people who are, and they're not mine, guys, because I have sold every one of these already. So I'm not trying to tell you to buy my cards. I wish I would have kept some of them. But Probstein has like a half dozen ending tonight at like 11 o'clock. So if you're listening to this right after it releases at 7 p.m. Eastern time, you got a couple hours to jump on some auction price silver ones that haven't run up yet. But there are people who have been listing these buy it now that you can scoop up. I saw $100 or $99.99 buy it now or best offer for a pair of the base and the red, white, and blue. You offer that person $50, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to get whatever I can on Devontae Graham." You grab it at 10, you get a red, white, and blue and a base. There are cards out there. There are people who have priced them on Star Stock really cheap. There are people who have them on eBay, and they'll just take whatever they can get because they're not thinking the way that you're now going to be thinking, which is Devontae's a nice potential flip if he does what I think he's going to do for the Hornets in the next couple of days, and then maybe gets traded, does it for somebody else, maybe makes a playoff. I mean, there's too many potential upswings for him right now for his cards to be as cheap as they are. So in 2021, where you can't just go to the same well that you used to go to, and you can't just, let's just buy some Kobe right now. Let's just buy some LeBron right now. I'm going to go to the same well that I always go to, and we're going to play Devontae Graham. But it would not be my pick today if it was not for LaMelo getting injured, because to me, you're covered on him both ends. If he gets traded, great. Your price is going to go up. If he doesn't get traded, I've watched him play when he gets minutes and they let him score. He can score. And so, either way, I think you're going to see somebody who, the prices should go up on him. So,
you know what happens when you go back to the same well cage? Well, you know how to get there, and you know how to get water out of that well, right? You know how that market moves.
Yep.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Cage, I want to talk about my Top Shot trade, but first, how about I'll give you my play?
Yeah.
You know who the best team in the NBA right now is by record?
The Jazz.
The Jazz. Do you think that they're a team that's just never going to get love and appreciation?
Well, I think Captain COVID, Rudy Gobert, made it hard to love him.
Really? You think people hold that grudge? So think about that.
I think people think he's a moron.
Huh. Well, Rudy Gobert is not my play, first off. So just let's set the record straight.
No, but
when that happened,
who loves Rudy Gobert, by the way? Ian. He's a huge fan of Gobert. He's got a Gobert auto. He's got he's in his own little personal. He loves Gobert. I know he loves everybody, but he likes Gobert. That's his guy. Not Donovan Mitchell.
Lover. Ian loves every single team in the NBA.
He likes one person from every team. He likes to have a favorite on every team.
Interesting. We'll have to bring Ian on and interrogate him.
But he likes Gobert.
He has absolutely no loyalty. I thought the Jazz were done.
He's 7.
There were rumors Donovan Mitchell's not getting along with Gobert. You remember that?
I remember that. Yep.
And here they are sitting at the top of the West. The West has been a bit weird this year, no doubt, but they're sitting atop the West. They're playing incredibly well. Joe Ingles' shooting percentage is through the roof. They're just an incredibly efficient, well-oiled machine. And I see this weekend, I'm on social media, Lou Genu, he's selling Donovan Mitchell cards. And I couldn't believe it. Donovan Mitchell cards are $450 for a Prism PSA 10, much lower pop. You guys know I love this 2017 set, which is much lower pop than 2018-19. And they're $450 a card. And here's how I would play it. I think they're going to have a little bit of a run. I think it's kind of the same as that Tyler Hero play where people haven't priced the best player on the team into the cards, and a team that's going to make a decent playoff run, you're able to buy the dip. I think it's really worthwhile to look at Donovan Mitchell cards to get them at $450, sell them at $700 when they are heading into the playoffs as the 1 seed. And they begin those conversations. Are they real or are they not? Well, it's irrelevant to you. You just bought it for 60% of the price and you sell into the hype. I love selling into the hype, Cage. You know that.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward, basic play. I don't take 17 and a half minutes to explain my play with beautiful parables and analogies as my amazing co-host can.
Well, people like to hear why a card's going to go from $450 to $750. Most people don't like to hear, hey, you buy it at $450 and then it's going to go to $750. You know what it's like? It reminds me of your cousin who said blockchain. Step 1, buy underpants. Step 3, make profit. I'm all about step 2, man.
That sounds like SpongeBob. Is that a SpongeBob episode?
No, it's South Park. It's the Underwear Gnomes South Park episode. It's a good one, man. You should check it out. It's very funny.
You look like you have a lot on your mind. What's going on, big guy?
Nothing, man. I love it's March Madness. We got some NCAA going. I lost 2 teams already in that. We got Top Shot, another Cool Cats drop, which I have bowed out. As of this morning, I am no longer chasing the Cool Cat LaMelo Master Challenge because I'm just not spending money on it. It's a money losing situation. So I'm selling all my Cool Cats, and I'm not chasing after commons that are going to be 9 times the price to try to get a Nicole.
You know what this reminds me of, Cage?
Yeah.
So if you look at your last year in sports cards,
mm-hmm.
you are dating this beautiful, wealthy, intelligent woman with curves, but she's fit and she's smart. And then on the side, you have this Top Shot piece. Yeah. She's your wild side.
The Top Shot side piece.
Your emotions are through the roof. Some days are really high when you're with her. Other days it's just fights and arguments, throwing wine glasses against the wall. But you got a good side piece right here. That's what it reminds me of, your relationship with cards and Top Shot. Yeah.
Top Shot's a side piece? No, dude. It's it's funny, right? I think there's 300,000 people trying to get into this Cool Cats queue. It's pretty impressive. I'll defend.
And yet you're 150,000 in line.
I was 111,000, and I didn't get any. Yeah, but look, it is what it is.
Let your emotions show. Are you annoyed that you haven't gotten a pack in?
100%. I got the gift pack that everybody got. I got the pre-order pack that everybody got, but I have not gotten a pack since it's been over a month. I haven't gotten a pack. They haven't given me anything. I've never got a rare pack. I definitely get a legendary pack. I get common packs.
Here's the best part of all.
Know why?
Here's the best
because
part.
I don't need packs because eventually they can let me get some money out of it.
Well, here's the best part, Luca Nation. So all of this, Cage is one of not the earliest, but first week in January, he's on. Getting packs was easy. Now he hasn't gotten a pack. But here's the kicker. He finally gets access to withdraw. Yep. But he can only withdraw in crypto.
Yep, I can only withdraw in crypto. And in my state, it wouldn't let me withdraw it. I put the withdrawal in, and it said, New York does not allow this. Your withdrawal has failed. So, typical.
Hey, so let's ask the Luca Nation what they think about my trade.
Yeah, ask away, man.
You're much better. You're much more elegant at explaining it than I will ever be.
So Andrew has a large dollar value moment from Series 1 out of 1,000. It is the LeBron Series 1 moment. It's his second moment, affectionately known as the Kobe tribute dunk. So it's a LeBron dunk where he does kind of like a, what would you call it, like a windmill type thing,
it's like a Misty in snowboarding. Remember that?
Like a little Scoopy kind of dunk. He does a little dunk, the Kobe thing. I mean, I think he lost the game. It's an interesting moment.
Thank you for bringing that up because you know how much it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's a cool kind of thing. It's a typical LeBron tribute. Nice dunk, but lose the game. So this moment has been as high as, I would say, was it around 40,000 at one point? 20, 30 something,
35,
whatever.
35 was the
35, 36, something like that. And it's hovering now around 22, 23-ish because, the market has kind of come down a bit, especially on the high end LeBron stuff and Series 1 and whatnot. And it's not the most liquid of moments, even though there's only 1,000 of them. It's just, right now people are liquid in Cool Cats and shiny this and shiny star and shiny new rookie and shiny. And that's not exactly the most shiniest thing in the world.
And another really quick caveat is the first moment of his, right?
Yep.
Because Top Shot's holding the moments in their Dapper wallet. That one trades for 13,000 to 14,000 higher because there's only a fraction of the listings, and that annoys me too. I think it's kind of irrelevant.
Right. It's like a fake supply, right?
Yes.
It's a that the as a matter of fact, the LeBron Kobe tribute one is the one that all 1,000 are out, right? All 1,000 of those are actually out there. Yep. The other two LeBron Series ones have 600 and 700 being held by Top Shot, making a false scarcity for those two. But the block one is a weird one. It's not even like a major moment. It's a block by LeBron. That one's only like 13,000 right now. But in any event, Andrew has thought about selling this, but you can't really get a bite at that kind of a number. So he decided that he was going to take a trade offer from someone that was a whole bunch of smaller moments and then sell those and try to get as much as, if not more than.
So let me read the moments and then you'll tell him the one big moment.
Please.
1 LaMelo, 1 Halliburton, 1 Wiseman, 2 Edwards, 3 Okoro, 3 Maxey, and 2 Quicklies. And a Precious Achua and Patrick Williams. So a lot of the rookie moments, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I mean, pretty liquid stuff. Those sell, if you set them at the floor, they sell pretty fast. And I happen to like Patrick Williams. But he also got one little bonus moment.
I sold the Patrick Williams already. And a Series 1 Bradley Beal game-winning layup, serial number 1. That's
pretty cool.
So what do you think, Luca Nation? Let me know. Do you think that's a good trade or a bad trade? February 6th, dunk LeBron James out of 1,000 for all of those rookies I just mentioned. 1 LaMelo, 1 Halliburton, 1 Wiseman, 2 Edwards, 3 Okoro, 2 Quickly, 3 Maxey, a Patrick Williams, and a Precious Achua. Let me know.
Achua.
Oh, and the Bradley Beal number 1 serial number.
Normally, I would say, as in all trades, the person who gets the bigger moment of all is going to win, and that would normally, I would say, be the Kobe tribute LeBron here. But you don't know what that Beal is worth. You might get somebody who's actually going to pay more for that than LeBron. But more importantly, it is not a liquid market on both ends. You're going to be able to sell once the stupid Cool Cat drop is done and they open up the marketplace. You're going to be able to sell the moments that you bought significantly faster at $1,000 chunks than you would for that LeBron Kobe tribute dunk.
Can I talk about Top Shot real quick? Because
Sure.
how do I word this? I don't understand the market fully, but it doesn't make sense to me that LeBron, who has close to 15 moments, 3 different series ones, which aren't even his rookie moment, should be going as the same as the true rookie moments of this year. And you don't, not even necessarily from the specific moment price, but just market cap. Like, these are rookie moments, and that's like LeBron's Prism, I don't know, orange refractor from 2019. So, I don't know. It's interesting stuff.
Part of it is the rookie part, but the other part of it is that Series 1, you have to think of it almost like a 2012 Prism. It's the first one. So,
yeah, but 2012 Prism didn't become 2012 Prism until
right. But people are betting on it. No. That's why the LeBron stuff is there, and also the NFTs they're different, right? They're not cards. They're not rookie cards, And yes, people are putting values on quote rookie moments like the Quickly and the Patrick Williams and the Zion and Ja from last year or more, and like a Luka, which will be a second year, is not as much, but that's Luka's first Top Shot. It's LeBron's first Top Shot, and a lot of the people who are buying this stuff, they're not card collectors. They're not. They're celebrities. They're NFT people. They're people that Gary is bringing in because of him talking about NFTs, even though he is, he missed Top Shot, so he's going to say Top Shot sucks. He is. If you look at my post from earlier today, he is number 2. He's going to say Chubby's all the way to go. And sorry Gary, but I've seen your posts. You don't give me a Chubby. So no Chubbies for me, man. No Chubbies for me. So, look, Ja Rule was tweeting this morning about it, right? He was interacting with us on Twitter about how he got a Top Shot All-Star pack. Good for him. So I have a feeling he doesn't care whether it's LeBron's, rookie or not. He just knows LeBron is the best you can get. So he should be the one that's going to be the most expensive. So that's what happens, man. When there's more demand and the same amount of supply. Ultimately, if Top Shots, if it stands the test of time, the LeBron moments from Series 1 are going to be worth money. They just are.
I hear you, Cage. I hear you. Anything else? Any more qualms to pick? What beef do you have with your co-host?
None. None at all. People like the what were they calling it yesterday? Shots fired by Cage. They were saying there was lots of shots fired. Listen, guys, this hobby is going to be interesting this year, right? So if you hear me talk about Top Shot, I love it. I don't love the market. I don't love a lot of things they're doing, but I love it because it was a completely unexpected thing. I came into 2021 concerned that PSA was going to raise their prices, and they did. Concerned about what was going to happen with all the prices that are flying, and they flew. And now they're all taking a little bit of a step back. What worked in 19 didn't work in 20, and what worked in 20 is not going to work in 21. And, a gift like Top Shot that came in and allowed us to, continue our flip game and maybe have some long-term value. Maybe. Remember, it's like everything else. It's a prospecting game. It's a great thing. Who knows what the next thing's going to be?
Is it fair to say that because you've been in the hobby for so long, you feel a sense of nurturing towards it? You care about it a lot as a whole, not just your own pocketbook?
Well, I like it because it is another way for people to collect, right? And if it stays the same, it's going to die, right? I'm not talking about Top Shot. I'm talking about the hobby in general, right? So things have to come in. There have to be some changes to it that allow people to have some excitement, to have a new thing to collect. I just don't get the real venom over Top Shot. It's funny because what I told you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when grading came in. Seriously, because I was in collecting.
When did that happen?
Well, grading's been around for a while, right? So PSA.
When did it penetrate the market?
I would say probably 10 to 15 years ago was when it actually started getting huge. BGS was very big in like the 2005 to 2010. I tell people all the time, when I was opening 09 and 2010 Bowman cards to get Strasburg and Bryce Harper, I was sending them to BGS. Like, it wasn't even a thought in my mind to send it to PSA. It's so different than it is now. But I will also say that I open UFC cards more than probably anybody in the world, and I never even thought to let me send this in for grading. And I'm telling you, in the 90s, to early 2000s, you went to card shows, you did card stuff. It was all raw. It was all Beckett magazine. It was all like, this one's excellent to mint. This one's, near mint to mint. There was no PSA. And it was like a very big thing for it to last long enough to, become, this is now the gold standard, graded cards over raw cards. And so it's funny because the old guard was very against it. I'm not spending money to have somebody tell me this is a 6. I know what my cards are. I know what it's graded. And, things change.
So would you want that, there's always the counterparty in this scenario. There's always someone who's a disruptor who's excited for these new changes to happen. There's someone who's going to be disrupted by the changes.
Yep.
Is it your understanding or is it your intention that the person that's getting disrupted should have a little bit more of an open mind to some of the new advances and see how they can benefit them?
I don't think that people need to get involved in this, right? I think that the card collecting, tangible cardboard can survive on its own without you ever getting into Top Shot. What I don't get is people's lack of understanding. I saw a guy tweet today like, the population of a Mickey Mantle 1965 in PSA 6 or better is less than 1,500. And yet there's 35,000 of these Top Shots. And I want to be like, who cares about Mickey Mantle's 17th year card? I'm a Yankee fan and I have a Mantle, but you're not understanding supply and demand. And in addition, just spend a couple hours on Twitter researching NFTs and what people's spending habits are. The thing this week is racing virtual horses and paying a lot in Ethereum for these things. Like, what's the tangible value in that, right? Buying knockoff CryptoPunks now, buying apes, buying toucans. I mean, I've seen so many NFT projects that the chubbies is, come on now, but whatever. Crypto kitties, what made Top Shot such a huge thing is because it appealed to these NFT folks as well as card people, which is what brought so many things in. But it almost is a negative because it's being compared to sports cards. Well, this is not. Look at the pop on this. No one's talking about the pop on any of these other weird friggin' horses or cats or chubbies.
Can I ask you a question? Because this just came in on our YouTube channel as you're ranting here. And I love this cage. This is my favorite cage. Whenever I have an idea with our Luca Nation network and I bring it to Cage, sometimes he responds with this kind of, he shoots holes in it, but it's the father figure in him. He wants to make sure that the ideas are bulletproof. So let me read you this question.
Yes.
Ryan Coutier. What did LeBron do to Cage to make him so butthurt? To say he's not a GOAT is laughable. If Cage honestly believes Kyrie and AD carried LeBron, he shouldn't be talking sports.
Okay. I guess I shouldn't. Listen, anybody who watched the postseason last year realizes that AD was the best player on that team. Am I saying anything wrong there? You're a basketball guy. AD was the best player there. AD hit the big shot.
LeBron is the best player in the world, and there's no one close. The only issue is in tight games, LeBron doesn't have enough of an offensive skill set he can make the last shot. He doesn't have enough of a skill set to rely on the last shot. So he needs playmakers around him to go and get buckets. That's why he passed the ball out to Danny Green, who broke that shot. He was wide open. But Cage, the question's for you, not for me.
Well, listen, to me, it's pretty straightforward. And I'll go one step further. I think LeBron doesn't even make the finals this year because he's afraid of going 4-7. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it. There's your butt hurt for you. So
I'll wrap this.
No, seriously, LeBron.
We're a talk show, and we're here for entertainment and education. The line isn't so clear, ladies and gentlemen. And I know you out on the other side of this. You've been cashing with my Mbappe stickers, with my Kobe final ticket, my Kobe rookie cards. Cage's plays, I'm not even going to go into them, but you're cashing. And you're having a laugh, and you're having some fun. And isn't that what this show is here for? we're just having a laugh and we're enjoying ourselves.
Listen, with the question, Ryan shows who he is. He probably never saw Jordan play. He's only watched basketball games in the LeBron era. And we started this episode off by talking about Elgin Baylor, who this guy probably can't even spell his name. And he scored 38 points and 18 rebounds a game, right? And no one cares. No one cares. And yet he won championships. You probably don't know what team he was on, right? Bill Russell won a ton of championships, right? Will Chamberlain scored 100 points in a game and won championship. Michael Jordan, 6 for 6, 6 MVPs, 6 championships. Right? These are GOATs. Tim Duncan, I'll even put in a quote GOAT conversation because that dude won championships with nobody there.
But you know the difference? And I think that we haven't fully wrapped our head around it, but when I say this, I think it will make sense. All of those guys were GOATs in this specific category, okay? And stay with me when I say this, okay? They were the best of all time employees. They were amazing employees. We've never seen anyone like LeBron who's actually an owner while playing. Let me say that again. Those other guys were employees. LeBron is an owner.
That makes no sense.
It makes a ton of sense. There's no one that has had as much power while playing the game, both influentially through his network of connections and through money, like LeBron has.
Yeah, but he's not an owner. He doesn't get a portion of the proceeds of the team. He's a salaried employee. He's not an owner. He may have control, sure, but he's not an owner.
Cage, has LeBron ever, on any of the teams he's went to, ever acted like an employee? No, he does what he wants.
Yes, he cashes his paycheck. he doesn't get a cut of concessions. Yeah, he's an employee.
I think what
you would say he has control, sure, but so many players have control. They're able to pick their own coach. Yes, I get what you're saying. He is still an employee though, but he has a lot of control.
He owns the Red Sox now, dude. He
doesn't own the Red Sox. He doesn't own the Red Sox. He is a share of a minority of the Red Sox. He doesn't own the Red Sox.
He has 5 businesses. He's the first athlete to become a billionaire while playing, Cage.
Well,
I think we're not processing.
He's a billionaire. That does not make him.
Have you ever heard
the greatest basketball player of all time? This is the fun. Yes,
Cage,
that was the question.
It's not always your part of the discussion. That I let you finish, and then I said.
But he said GOAT. He said if Cage doesn't think he's a GOAT. We never had a conversation about whether he was a business owner or whether he was a billionaire.
Right. I was bringing that point in as my own point. As a co-host in this show, I'm allowed to bring on my own points. I don't have to listen to Ryan's.
Yes, it's true. It's very true.
And then what I said was we've never seen a guy like LeBron come around before. A player who's had this much power, this much influence while playing the game. Even Jordan, and you'll know this better than most, even while playing, he didn't have that much power. He had a lot of power, but you cannot compare Jordan's influence when he started or when he was coming up to LeBron's influence now.
It's true. All true.
And I think that rubs people a little bit the wrong way because they're like, dude, why do you act like you're above the game?
It's true. 100%.
When Jordan was a student of the game, people loved it. He competed. He didn't sit out. He practiced. He showed up for every single game. Where with LeBron, there's always these extracurriculars that, dude, if you look at him, that's his point of pride. That's the human he wants to be. Think about how many times people have told him, shut up and dribble. And he's like, I will never shut up and dribble. So what is he saying? He's saying, hey, I stand for more than basketball. So there's never been a player with as much influence that would say such a thing. And that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But he also has a huge fan base that people are like, I like that about him. I didn't like that Jordan back in whenever the political turmoil was and there was that racist governor, mayor of North Carolina, and Jordan didn't stick up for that. Remember, he got so much backlash for it.
Yeah.
So it cuts both ways.
Uh-huh.
This is fun. I love when we go like a little bit back and forth, like a little tango.
So the last point I'll make on it then is this. I don't like paper straws. I like plastic straws. Whenever I go to a restaurant that has a paper straw, it like unfurls. It gets all like it gets all chewy, and then like you can't drink out of it. I mean, I don't know what's wrong. Why we can't have plastic straws anymore? So I mean, I think plastic straws, and my favorite plastic straw is the ones that have like the stripy colors, like the white straw with like the red stripe and the yellow stripe, like a variety pack. So I don't like the paper straws, man. And so many places are going to paper straws now, and I really wish they wouldn't do that. Also,
have you taken my magic mushrooms before today's episode?
No, I'm just making a point. It has nothing to do with the point of the question that was asked, but I'm a co-host, so I'm allowed to make whatever point I want to make because I'm a little diaper baby and I can make whatever point I want. So I'm going to make a point about plastic straws.
We millennials like to be heard out.
Dude, I hear you. Listen, if the point is the impact on sports, the impact on the world, the global impact, that's all well and good, and that's fine. And I've heard the argument many times. Gary Vee used to make it to us in our little chat room about why he thought LeBron was the one to buy, that he's going to mean more after his playing career than during it, right? He's going to have political aspirations, potentially. He's going to have business aspirations. That is a great reason why you can invest in his cards, right? And why he's relevant and why he has done things off the court that no one before him has done. But GOAT? Nope. One of the best of all time? Sure. One of the top 10? Sure. You won't even put him in the top 5? Sure, I'll give you that. But
the beauty of America,
4 and 6.
Why I love it as an immigrant is you're allowed to have your own opinions in this country. And that's what makes it beautiful. And I would actually say when we have different opinions and we're able to respectfully, hash them out, even if there's a bit of a disagreement, I think that's what brings us together. So I love it personally. Go
LeBron with what he was physically gifted with, guy should have won more titles than anybody in the world, and he had a chance to. He's been in 10 finals.
You sound like a disappointed dad.
Well, I guess you could say I'm butthurt then. Wasn't that the question? I'm butthurt.
Luca Nation, I think you're going to enjoy this episode. This isn't like our typical episodes because we get to riff a little bit, a little back and forth. Papa Bear is a little bit hungry. He hasn't had Chick-fil-A all weekend, so it's all good stuff. We love you guys. Paige, any words of inspiration, any positivity that you want to leave on our community?
Positivity? Listen, when a door closes on you, usually a window opens, right? So that's going to be true in 2021 for the hobby, right? Your PSA, low value, quick subs to turn around and to react your money, that's just gone, right? But a window, that door's closed on you. Window might open up. That window might be, CGC value grading. It might be, buying raw. It might be Star Stock A. It might be Top Shot, even if you guys hate that. I guess my positive stuff is there's more than one way to get returns in our hobby, and maybe try something new. You have some fun with it. I mean, honestly, dude, how many hours have you spent on Top Shot? Frustrating, sure, but how many hours since January? You're talking about like 2.5 months, right? So the last let's go 10 weeks. Would you say you spent 100 hours on it? Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not as compulsive as yes. I'm just going to leave it at that. Yes. Which brings me to the point. They're going to have to open up this marketplace so I can make some sales. Love you, Liquidation.
Take care, everybody.